Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Daima Son Goku Daima. This is the new adult full-size. I don't know if he's an adult when he's small in this show. I don't know. I didn't watch it. Goku, you guys asked me to review the Daima stuff. I reviewed like one or two, maybe just one of the little ones, and I'm going to review all the regular sized ones. And because there's some good stuff going on here, there's some nice things, and unfortunately, there's some bad stuff too, but we're going to talk about all of it. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package, and it has been brought to my attention that there are still people complaining about me saying that, and they're the ones I do it for. It's like one word. It's literally one word changed in the entire review, and people are complaining about it. That's insane, but I do it for the ones who are laughing and for the ones who are crying. Okay, so this is the packaging. It's your standard Figuarts packaging, really. It's slightly different than your standard Dragon Ball packaging, but pretty darn close. We still have fairly small photos, which I wish Bandai would get away from. I wish we got some bigger photos of the figure on the back, but the windows are still generally the same. You have the little swooshy thing on here now, but in the metallic purple. But yeah, it's a good looking package. I think they need to do different things for these top photos. The way they have them connected, so that's okay, but this one, it's just half of hands. That's a weird one, so I don't I like that one too. I don't collect in the box. Like, I keep them to hold the accessories, but could you imagine displaying that with that photo? Why do you need a picture of his hand? That's silly. Okay, let's talk about the figure. This guy stands, let's say 5/8 to the top of his head, a little taller for his hair, of course. That's going to be about 14. We'll say 14 centimeters for his actual head, 16 for the hair. I'll give you the actual hair measurement too, just in case you need it. 6 1/4. Here he is up against everyone's favorite height measuring figure, which serves very little purpose at this point other than continuity. And there you go. So there he is up against a Darwin. Okay, so this guy is not, he's in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. I got mine the regular way. I couldn't remember if this was a review sample or not. Okay, so he's in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. Should be about 35 bucks, I believe. That's what I paid. So that's one of the entry price, lower end Tamashii Nations figures to try to get people hooked, and we'll see if this is gonna work. So let's do a question of the day. Are you guys watching Daima? Are you into it? Are you just doing it because there's nothing else? Are you into the designs? Like, what's your deal with Daima? For me, I don't like the whole idea of it. I'm just not interested in it. But this full-sized ones look nice, so what the heck? Let's look at them, and here we are. So no shading anywhere. Basic paint job. Super basic paint job. In fact, I think everything is a new piece of plastic except for the things that actually need to be painted. So we have his boots, not the tie part, but the other red parts. Those are painted. Those are pretty clean. Then we have his chest, which is painted, and you can see it's not super clean. That's unfortunate. That sucks. And then we have the face, which looks decent, looks pretty good. I think actually these faces are, like, they've been firing on all cylinders for the faces for a while. These are right up there as some of the best. For the longest time, especially with Vegeta, but for all of them, they made the faces too flat. There wasn't enough meat front to back, and they're really starting to hit their stride doing that. It makes the faces look so much better. Even from just the front, you can tell there's a difference, and it looks really, really, really good. So that's nice. The proportions on this guy look pretty darn good as well. Maybe a bit too much thigh gap unless you're actively trying to force it closed, which you can, so that's fine. But even in their own photos, it looks kind of like that. So just be aware of it, but you can do it. I have to say, the front part of the crotch, though it's mostly hidden by this, I mean, don't flip it up, obviously, but you can see what's in there, and you can see underneath it some. It's not really good looking, so that's unfortunate. But they have updated some engineering to look better or worse in certain cases. So we're going to talk about that when we get to the articulation portion. But yeah, it's a good looking figure. There's nothing plasticky, or at least too plasticky about it. It looks pretty nice. So for this price point, this guy's going to get, it's still going to go 8 out of 10 because it has no paint, essentially. Like, no shading at all, nothing to bring him to life. It almost looks like a model kit still, but it does look really nice for what it is. Alright, now for accessories, we do have an alternate hair piece, so we have the normal one and the swooshy one. That's pretty good. Then for faceplates, they all look really, really great. I love these faceplates. They nailed it. Decent spread of hands, nothing elaborate, but enough to get the job done for this price point. And then we do get a swooshy skirt piece to go with the hair, and that's pretty nice. Now I will say, well, first I'll do a rating for the accessories. For this price point, 9 out of 10. That's pretty darn good. No effect, no stand, but again, it's a low price point. Now the thing here about this that really grinds my gears, I love that it's interchangeable, but the way they've made it, it's like way too complex. I don't know what Bandai's deal is lately with making things too complex, but you pop this guy off right here, alright? And then you have the skirt piece here, which is connected to this piece here, and it's like, why? Why is this a separate piece from this? This should be sculpted to be rounded so that it can move around more. We don't need all these keys and things. Make it just rounded at the top so it moves around underneath the belt, which also doesn't have any keys and things. They've done this a dozen times, 100 times, not with interchangeable skirt pieces, but with belts. Like, they can just make them separate pieces. I don't understand all the keying. And you might say, well, it's so that you know which is front and back. And that's true. Who cares what front and back is on the belt? It doesn't matter. Sculpt it so that, and this too, by the way, we don't need this giant squared off piece. Just taper it so that it all goes together, but so that it still has the articulation. I don't understand why they made that such a complex thing. It doesn't need to be. These should be separate. Why are they keyed to each other? That's the bad design, and we'll talk about that as we do the articulation, which we're going into now. But I want to start with this because they did what I've been saying, and so I'm going to tell you it's really good. And it is. Ball peg in the neck, double ball peg in the head. You just move it however you want. Now, they do still have too much gapping at the collarbone. I don't know why Bandai doesn't fix that. Like, almost all of their figures that have posable necks have that problem. I don't get it. Like, you just need an extra millimeter of plastic, and that'll be fine. Why not do it? That's weird, but you do get the double ball peg, and that's great. Now, for the shoulders, let me tell you, this figure has that soft outer layer, which we'll talk about more for the ab crunch part, but it helps the shoulders a little bit, I guess. But it's also, I should have mentioned this in the aesthetic, it also shows you the insides too much. It doesn't stay closed well enough, especially if you pose them. So that's a little bit annoying. It's kind of minor. But for the shoulders, you get your ball hinge shoulder, but what the heck? Why did they sculpt it like that? That is definitely not a necessary thing to do. It could have been just sculpted into the joint perfectly, rather than having a giant faceted flat piece. So anyway, you get your ball hinge there, and that's fine. It works nicely. And this piece is, this is so overly complex. So you have a ball peg that your shoulder, can we focus please? So this piece here, the hinge, as is normal, has a ball peg that goes into the butterfly area, which is what that is. That's the ball peg going into the other orange butterfly. And then the orange butterfly has its own ball peg going into another socket. And that allows you to do not a whole lot, but it does do some. Now, that other socket is also on a hinge to raise it up. And it's like, okay, so that all technically works. To achieve what exactly? All it does is create a giant gap. You already have your range. You already have your arm going up and too much meat down here. We don't need to be able to raise it up like that and just create a giant gap to see all the way into his chest. If I lift this up, you can see light coming through. Maybe you guys aren't going to be able to. Some. It's just overly complex for no reason. And it's like, that's some budget. That's some budget for design. That's some budget for production and assembly. A hinge, a ball socket, and then another ball socket and a ball hinge. It's way too much for a freaking shoulder. You don't need all of that. It doesn't hurt the figure really, other than it's extra stuff to move around. It just doesn't really serve much of a purpose. So butterfly wise, it's fine. It doesn't do anything special. It's just fine. Like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's only using like half of the engineering that they put in there. So it's just a weird thing that costs more than it needs to, and you end up with ugliness. So I don't get it. Bicep swivel, that's pretty loose. Be aware of that. Double jointed elbow looks nice. Posed and unposed, that's good. Ball hinge wrist, those are standard. Now for the torso, you get a ball peg down here. But like I said, it's ugly because of the way they made everything faceted and keyed together. So that's unfortunate. It makes the torso more limited than it needs to. And then this is just like the other ones that they did with this. It's a nice idea on paper, but you don't actually get... Like, you can lean him back a little bit inside the gi. You can lean him back a little bit. And then you can lean him forward a little bit. It makes the gi look kind of puckered, but it doesn't even really lean that much. Like, it's just a little bit. Side to side, it stretches out this, so you can see inside again. it's just the torso's not very good. They need to stop trying to overcomplicate things. The soft outer layer has not worked. They have not done a good job with that yet. Who had it? Piccolo and Gohan? Did Piccolo get one? I know Gohan did. Anyway, it hasn't worked yet. Okay, now for here, we have this, which is split where it needs to be. That's good. This side, it's split in another spot, which is fine because you need to split it to make it work. But because they put the keys in there, it looks like a model kit. There's chunks of plastic in places where you don't need it. And then, of course, when you do pose this, you're going to see inside more. And it's not particularly good looking. But you do get to kick forward nicely, and his leg goes back just a little bit because they still have the butt on here, which I don't care for. So the leg doesn't go back very far, but it does go forward. Then going out to the side, it makes this look bad. And it also it's fighting you the whole way. But it makes this look bad up here. And these don't look good down here. They've done a much, much better job on lots of figures at this point. So this is very unfortunate. He can do the full splits, but he definitely has nuggets. And it destroys the look of up here, this area. So, yeah, it's not great. Now, it's a good thing this is a $36 figure, but it's like, this is the Goku, so if Goku's going to end up looking like a $36 figure and the rest end up better, hopefully, that's going to be a bit of a problem. You do get your thigh swivel. I think it's a ball peg, technically, or it just wiggles around, I don't know. But, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Single-jointed knee. Now, this is a good thing, because they've had a really hard time doing the knees on these baggy pants over the years. And this is not bad. Now, there's two things that they absolutely need to fix. And I can tell them. There's three that you could do. Two that are necessary. One, don't have this cutout right here be so visible. Sculpt it into the freaking wrinkles so that it doesn't look like a big cutout. I mean, that's an easy fix. There's no reason for that to be squared off like that. That looks bad. And then same thing for this. This piece right here. That should be tapered into the knee. So that tucks into up here, tucks into the wrinkles, and then when you bring it down, you don't have a big faceted flat spot. Easy fix, makes the knee look 10 to 12 times better. It would look way, way nicer. And then just another tiny thing, the third thing, is you see how you have that gap right there? That's this piece right here. You have a gap back here too. Make the piece bigger so that there's no gap. that would be pretty easy. Those are all super easy things. Doesn't cost them anything other than a tenth of a cent for some plastic. Probably not even that much. But yeah, those knees are pretty solid. I like it. The range is good enough. And if they adjust those few things, it would look good. But you don't need this flat spot and this flat spot and the gap. Those are bad. All right, now here's a weird thing. They've started doing this on figures, and I can see it on super baggy pants. He doesn't have super baggy pants. And it offers very little range. So it doesn't add anything. As far as I can tell. I don't get it. There's a little hinge there. For the ankles, they've tried new ankles. It's a ball peg with a ball hinge at the end so the foot can move around. And I guess that's okay, but it's really ugly. You get a great ankle rocker out of it, so that's good. But the ankle hinge itself still blows. So I don't know. I don't get it. It goes down like it's way too ugly and doesn't work as well as it could still. So I don't get what they're doing. They have not given us good Dragon Ball ankles yet, I think. Maybe like one or two. And then the toe hinge is still a bad toe hinge. Some of the design teams at Bandai keep doing this, and this is not a good toe hinge. It creates a big gap. It looks ugly. It moves the toe in a weird way. It's just not the right way to do it, so that's unfortunate. So his articulation is somewhat good, somewhat bad, and it's not like you're not going to be able to pose him, but you're going to be fighting with him for some poses, and for other things it just won't work. And, you know, it's just, stop over-engineering stuff. The torso's way too limited. Neck is great, other than the gapping. Shoulder's way too complex, but functional. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 for articulation. It's like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 1 step back. I don't know what Bandai is doing exactly with this engineering that they're doing. Things like the knees, great. Came up with a new design that finally looks pretty good, and then still not good enough. There's no reason to do it that way. It's so weird. Anyway, okay, time for the final verdict on this figure. Is it a good Goku figure for 35 bucks? You bet. It is definitely that. If you like the Daima look for him, then it's a shoo-in for sure. It needs some paint, but still a really solid figure for this price point. Not a problem at all. Is it some kind of miraculous super fancy figure using all kinds of new stuff? No, it's using some new stuff, and a lot of that new stuff isn't very good. Some of it is. So, given that it's at a low price point, it's going to get a pretty high rating, but it's not a special figure. It is just a solid, good figure with some things, some room for improvement, some things that could change. So I'll give it an overall rating of, I'm going to say 8.5 out of 10. You could do a lot worse for 35 bucks, but we do have other companies coming onto the field for incredible prices and providing really good products. So it's going to be harder and harder for these more expensive brands to keep up unless they really start to try to keep up. And I think they're going to have to do that, but we'll see. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, but I'm done talking for now. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.